Such attempts are contrary to our character, to our values, and to our history as a nation built around the idea of religious freedom.
Contrary. The reality that we see there is that the reality has not.
The fear and anger that it provoked was understandable. But in some cases, it led us to act contrary to our traditions and our ideals. That's contrary to the history of America.
And anyone who says the contrary certainly would have to prove this. Any case, just one case, where the proper authority has not acted in a correct way, that the competent authorities have not punished anyone who has abused their authority, whether they be police officers, whether they be soldiers, or anyone else.
The fear and anger that it provoked was understandable. But in some cases, it led us to act contrary to our traditions and our ideals. The closer we get to this new energy future, the harder the opposition is going to fight, the more we're going to hear from special interests and lobbyists in Washington whose interests are contrary to the interests of the American people. Contrary, the rise of a strong and prosperous China can be a source of strength for the community of nations. Contrary to the claims of some of my critics and some of the editorial pages, I am an ardent believer in the free market.
I took two examples of two topics that could, in other times, have led to head-on collision, and which in this case, on the contrary, I looked at on both sides of the Atlantic as a situation where we are complementary.
And we do this because the impact you've had on all of our lives, pushing us, believing in us, insisting, sometimes despite all evidence to the contrary, that we have potential and that we have something worthy to contribute. In fact, to the contrary, part of what I've tried to emphasize to President Karzai and the Afghan people, but also to the American people, is this is a long-term partnership that is not simply defined by our military presence. That will not negate